Fallen Angels is the title. This is to completely encircle and encapsulate and present what the essence of this grimoire is about, what the essence of Luciferianism in this aspect truly is. This grimoire begins with Luciferian philosophy in conjunction with magical practice. So you have the rational thought, the rational perception and application, cause and effect, all of those philosophical aspects. Then you're approaching deific mask, gods, demons, spirits, symbols or archetypes representing initiatory knowledge. And there's a connection that I make in this grimoire, and that is that the rational, self-empowered, the liberated individual who does not, or who may or may not invest any type of belief or fascination with deific masks such as the Watchers. Encircling aspect of Luciferian witchcraft is presented in this 300-page grimoire, and it begins with the philosophy and the application and the symbolism of the infernal union, Samael, Cain, Lilith, Leviathan, the circle, what those things mean symbolically and in a rational sense. To then, if you, as you read and you analyze it and you kind of digest it and approach it, how your brain works, how it's wired, what inspires you when you enter the ritual chamber, how you approach the adversarial current. All of these things are presented in this first part of the book. So no matter if you're coming from a neo-pagan background, if you're coming from be it a Thelemite or some other magical tradition, Luciferianism in this sense corresponds and works well in a type of balance with whatever you're coming from, because it's not the veneration or quote devil worship as the mask or the symbol presents, but it is a self-empowering spiritual understanding of how Luciferianism is the current manifest within the individual. Thus, you become a temple of mind, body, and spirit. The foundation of the grimoire Fallen Angels is based on the Watchers. Now, the most extensive study that I've done in the etymology and comparing the Ethiopic Book of Enoch, the Aramaic and Greek translations, the various studies into the names and the origins of those names of the Watchers from the Second Temple period, which was roughly the Greco-Roman or Hellenistic period of the Seleucids, Ptolemies in the Judean region. This was when, during the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls, when the Book of Enoch was composed, and it reflected, in a rational sense, the old gods, the outside influences of Hellenistic culture, which is an alien concept to the Jewish priesthood at that time. And so you see reflections of the older pantheons, from the Mesopotamian to the Syrian, Canaanite, even some aspects of Egyptian, finding a new manifestation in these names of the fallen angels or Watchers. The Watchers, the sigils, as I reconstructed them, utilized alchemical, elemental, and the symbols relating to their planets and or office. Now, what that means to a rational Luciferian and how this is used is these symbols represent, going back to their planetary, their elemental association, and the etymological meaning of the name, have a deeper symbolism, which can be utilized in a rational, everyday sense. And that's how you begin, essentially, in Luciferian witchcraft. Within the circle in the ritual chamber, you're investing belief according to how your mind naturally is inspired and works, whether it's a symbol or it's a literal spirit. That's up to the individual. I present a kind of balanced and easily approachable for those who can apply Luciferian philosophy consistently through the difficulties that philosophy kind of inspires to evolve and to liberate yourself. These aspects and these concepts of the Watchers are as authentic as you can get, because I use so many sources, academic sources, and narrowed them down. The invocations are very simple, general, utilizing names of power, and being as a means of empowering a sigil with whatever you're working towards at that time. For a period of time, you will use this sigil as a kind of unconscious remembering and an empowering towards what you want to accomplish. For instance, Semyaza is the leader, along with Azazel, of the Watchers who descended to Mount Hermon in the myth. And while his name has older origins, which I explain in the book, Semyaza represents kind of the Lord of Enchantments, who brings the art of sorcery, so encircling belief, using roots, herbs, associations, natural associations, towards your focus in the practice of magic and witchcraft to attain your internal, short-term and long-term external goals. So working with Semyaza represents an opening towards a pathway of understanding, getting a basic knowledge and a know-how to practice on some level witchcraft in the Luciferian sense. Now, what that means is, if you're seeking to learn about herbs and root cutting and natural attributes in the outdoors and in nature itself, then you're going to understand how those relate to a regenerating, a renewal, an earthly and a physical fertility, a fertility of the mind, and understanding that you alone are the one creating all of the circumstances from that point on in your life, be it positive or negative. And you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have misfortune and things like that, but you can also control the vast majority and not have to bend knee and supplicate to something outside of yourself. You're going to harmonize with specific energies within yourself and that pathway accordingly. So further on, the concept of Serial, the Watcher of the Moon. The moon has cycles in which different specific rites and focuses are practiced in all types of magical workings, to better understand your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, and kind of be able to apply in an appropriate manner which works for you the kind of sorceress practice under the lunar cycle. Azazel weapons associated with Venus, all of these things are bringing knowledge, liberating, leading to liberation, and empowering through validation of results. Okay. And then the lore of the fallen angels and their constellations to an extent, to the Nephilim and the alchemical union of the immortal spirits in the myth of the Watchers with the daughters of Cain or daughters of earth and flesh, representing the Nephilim as kind of, in Qumran demonology, first level manifestation of ghosts, vampiric spirits, and so on. There's a working that explores this and this intense, and I call it theoretical, approach, which is associated with some aspects of astral, spiritual, dreaming vampirism, known as cacodemonic apotheosis. Now, the foundation of the grimoire is based in Luciferian angelic magic and apotheosis, which is bringing in union and awareness conversation with your daemon, your true will, and then transforming that union between your actualized insight, your power, and what you visualize as yourself in idealized excellence. The darker avenues of kind of a casual sorcery magic in a demonic sense, in a what's associated with the Nephilim, is presented in this grimoire, but it's a section that's very directed towards someone who has applied the invocation of the Watchers consistently and finds this appropriate. The basic medieval concept of the pact initiation, Luciferian self-liberation, the union of Samael and Lilith to beget Cain as Baphomet, are presented next in this work. And it goes into how these are utilized, what they mean, how they can be easily applied, and how that current will manifest through you in time with useful results. The other aspect of the grimoire also deals with the jinn as Iblis or Shaitan, and invocations based around the peacock angel, Melektos, as I was able to learn from the writings in the grimoire of Charles Pace many years ago. This is a powerful avenue for those interested in the jinn, the spirits of fire, and their relation to black flame. The Witches Sabbat, the Witteric Sabbatic rites, which is a cornerstone of the dreaming convocation, relating to my early initiation with the Typhonian current, the Zoskia cultists of Austin Osman Spare. As I was working through in the 1990s, the Sabbat is presented with the foundation center of Baphomet and Cain in a way that simplifies and that I haven't presented in a public sense. All of these avenues are tied together, and it shows how the succession builds. So whether you're just coming into practice, you want to know about what are my basic Luciferian magical foundations, or how does philosophy relate to the practice of this art, it's there. I will say the book is fantastically, beautifully illustrated by Mitchell Nolte, who I've collaborated with on Drauga and Necrominion prior. He took the descriptions and the details that I provided, and we had many back and forth kind of concepts and magical understandings that he presented, very unique and powerful representations of the Watchers.